Hi students, it's Miss Barnes, and for those of you that are ready to move forward after you finish your Tetris pieces, you are moving into a letter of the alphabet. I'm going to show you where to find a few things in the land of Schoology and give you some tips on how to move forward. In the needlework cross-stitching folder, you can drop down to the space that says practice exercises. And like I mentioned, if you're done with your Tetris work, you are moving on to stitching warm-ups number 2. In this space, you're going to see a link that is going to connect you to the alphabet. You have the freedom to choose any letter you want. You have the freedom to choose any color that you want to create a letter in. I have no preference, but there is a new dynamic to this work now. And part of that, and really the main reason, is because we're introduced to analyzing patterns that have some dynamic of open space. And even in our practice, we've had some practice with this understanding of Miss Barnes says work left to right, make the whole row, come back to the front, move to the next row, but it's actually something we want to pause and rethink a little bit. The reason for that is we don't want to leave this giant line of floss that's running on the backside of our canvas. It's really important in the dynamic of cross-stitching to keep things clean and precise. So I want to show you a few things to keep on your radar as you move forward. I'm going to switch screens here a little bit. And for my practice, I'm going to show you a few things using the letter G. And I've just opened the letter G. I did a screenshot and I pulled this into Google Drawing. It's a little bit blurry. I apologize for that, but I feel like there's enough clarity here to talk through what I want you to have on your radar. So there are a few things we know from the work that we've been doing. Again, this dynamic of working from left to right, making the first half of this stitch and then the back half. So at a quick glance, the knowledge I have would tell me I'm going to build this first row as I see it, simply counting the stitches. And when I get to back here to the front, I'm going to move down, but I have to move back one to present this. Here we have open space. So I'm going to count 1 dot in my fabric, a second in that Aida cloth, and then I'm going to make my 4 stitches. And again, I'm going to work that process to come back, space, space, come back, and move on to the next line. Here's where, related to this pattern, I need to start to do something differently. Because the amount of stitches that are living here is getting to be several. I'm up to 6. I was going to start to leave some space. So instead of counting 6 spaces and making 2 stitches and coming back and leaving this big line of floss on the back and resolving my row, we're going to set this up a little different. So let's take a few things away. And let's start here. A smarter way to work through this pattern, complete your 2 stitches, go to the next row. Find that alignment, go to the next row, go to the next row, go to the next row, so that you're not crossing into all of this and leaving some space. Keep going, keep going. All of these stitches touch each other. They're really just a few stitches away. And I would finish with the bottom row. From here, we're going to take some knowledge we have. I just want to change the size of things here. If I get to the bottom space, end this. So bury that needle on the stitch on the back side and call it. All right. The problem is the pattern's not done. So you will restart. I'm going to change colors here. A new thing to look at. I'm going to figure out where this row lives. my line tool back here. There it is. I'm just going to change colors again here. Sorry, slight delay. There we go. I'm going to figure out where this row lives, and I'm going to count appropriately. So that means you might go back to this point in the G, but essentially you want to figure out where does this single stitch start in relation to what's above it, in relation to what's living on the left. And then again, we're going to stay here in this space. So you're going to count in. You're going to end early. Again, you'll find your alignment for this work that's here. And get to the bottom. Oh, man. Same thing again. End off in this second section. Okay. There's one more area of this pattern of the letter G that I haven't resolved yet in any of my work. And that's up in that upper right corner. Again, I'm just going to go back to my line tool. Make sure this is live. It's not quite live. Hang on one second. Because I need to resolve these 3 stitches right here. You'll do the same thing that you've done before. You can catch your stitches that are living right here above, and you can come in oops, sorry. You can come into this and drop that line, make your last 2 stitches your final stitch, and then we simply end off one more time. So with this new alphabet letter, we're going to have some practice starting and stopping. We're going to have some practice and an awareness of how do I run these stitches so things are staying nice and clean on the back side of my canvas, and a lot of practice kind of starting your floss and ending floss in multiple parts of your pattern.